Hi, this is Ms. Weimer here to go through what you missed when you were not at the March 16th 11th grade success session. The agenda mainly consisted of learning how to use the new service center, which I'll be making separate videos for, and then also kind of revisiting the degree planning and how to register for classes there, and then that process did change with the new service center, which I'll get into. Revisiting your high school scheduling and knowing where you stand for those classes, a review of prepping for the SAT, and then finishing up with news and updates. The Service Center is the new WAVE. So what used to be the WAVE and where you would register for your classes in the SC4 portal is now something called the Service Center. The SC4 staff was there to show us how to use it, and I will also be making separate videos of how to go through that and how to use that. And then if you ever need any help with it, we're also here to help. So the Service Center is pretty cool. It's actually a lot easier to use than it used to be in the WAVE. You can actually use it to plan your program of study and figure out which classes you're going to take. You can see your credits earned and what you have left, what classes you have left, where you place for your English and math, and then you can use it to create your class schedule and complete registration just like in the WAVE, but with all that other stuff to use too. So for fall registration, we kind of just reiterated what you need to consider. Registration opens on April 9th, which is actually a Monday, but it opens that Sunday night at midnight. And the things that you need to consider are what you need for your degree, any prerequisites that you need for those classes, classes that will transfer to other schools later on, courses that you may need for your high school graduation, and courses that will fit your schedule. There is a whole bunch of stuff at the bluewatermiddlecollege.org page, and the email we'll be sending with this will have a bunch of links as well. But these videos are all going to be on that page. Information about planning for your degree, registration, scheduling documents and links, and the SAT prep also has its own page too. So you should go there and find that information. There's also worksheets for all of the degrees that are at that page. And then this page here, the sc4.edu program list, is where you can find all the degree requirements for all of the SC4 degrees, like the applied degrees. So you would use your program of study to figure out what your prerequisites are, and some common ones are this English 101 and 102, and you would need that before you would need 102. Accounting 211 you have to take before you take 212. Business 221 and 222 have now turned to what they actually are, which is called Econ 221 and 222. The prerequisite for that is to have 20 credits completed and Math 102 to a place higher than that. Bio 271, the anatomy and physiology, you have to pass with a C or better before you can move on to Bio 272. So those are all things that you need to consider and kind of figure out where you stand when you're doing your registration. So know what you need. Don't just plan one semester at a time. We're looking at this point that you should be planning out at least for your full 12th grade year, if not into your 13th. And so we went through this at the success session. You've probably seen this before. And this is just kind of showing, you started in fall of 2017. And you have finished, you're in your second semester of winter 18 right now. So we wanted you to kind of see where do you stand credit-wise at the end of this 11th grade year, and knowing that the eventual goal is that you need to get to 62 credits. So ideally, by the end of 12th grade, you can get to 32 credits so that your final year you can just take 15 credits each semester. Kind of worst case scenario would be if you can get to 28 credits by the end of your 12th grade year, then you still will have enough room to do 17 credits each semester, and that would get you to the 62. But ideally, if you are anywhere from 10 to 12 credits done by the end of this 11th grade year, it should be pretty easy to get to that 32 by the end of your 12th grade year. And so we're also just kind of reminding you your SAT scores may improve your placement for both the English and the math, and you're taking that very soon, and the scores will be back in June. And then there's a chart here that we will include the link to in the email for how to check that later on. But just a reminder that when you are taking the SAT, you should use, when you have there's a place where you will put what colleges you want these scores sent to, include SE4 in that, so that they can get your SAT scores quickly. And if you are using it for placement, then you won't have to wait or spend the money or spend the time to have those SAT scores sent to SE4 later on. This is the AccuPlacer placement chart. So I'll show you in the Service Center how you access your scores to then find out where you place. And just another reminder that we can't pay for tuition for developmental education courses. So if you were currently placed into English 50, English 75, Math 75, or now Math 102 has now changed to Math 81, either 81 or 82. So if you're placed into one of those right now, again, hopefully your SAT scores can place you out of it, but you can also retake the AccuPlacer this summer. But I for right now would not recommend taking one of these classes. Basically, if you are placed there and you aren't able to improve your placement with your SAT, then come and talk to us and we'll give you some ideas of what to do. You also want to start looking into how things are going to transfer. So in order to figure out how things are going to transfer or where you want them to transfer, you first need to figure out kind of what careers you're thinking about, what level of education is required for that, and then what bachelor's degree that would require or that you'd be seeking, and then what colleges have that bachelor's degree or where you want to attend. So Career Cruising can help you with all of this, and that's also something we can help you with, so come in and talk to us if you want to talk through that. So your research can start with Google. I always tell people just the college and then Google, like Googling Michigan State Transfer Guide will kind of bring you to the right place. It will take a little bit of exploring though, and that's something that we can teach you how to do. You can also, and I highly recommend meeting with an SE4 advisor. Probably more important than meeting with one of us is to meet with an SE4 advisor, since they're the ones that will really vouch for how things will transfer. You could also work on meeting the Michigan Transfer Guide requirements, and that's on the back of your two kind of arts or science degrees, and I'll kind of show you those requirements next. So that is that agreement that all these Michigan colleges have where they will take your general stuff that you're doing and just kind of knock out what would be your general education requirements that you would do as part of your bachelor's degree at a four-year school. So those requirements are on the back of the arts and sciences degrees, and I'll show you that website. Okay, so this is the bluewatermiddlecollege.org. This is our website where we have a lot of those resources kind of compiled together. And what I pointed out earlier under the current students, these are where you can find that planning for your degree, SE4 registration, the Michigan Transfer Agreement checklist is under the scheduling documents and links. So here is where you can find a whole bunch of stuff. It does link you to the refresher for the SE4 registration, which we'll have up today. And then this here is that list of the SE4 degrees and programs that I mentioned. But most of the stuff, like those worksheets that we give you and help you work through, all of that stuff is over here at the scheduling documents and links. So these are your graduation worksheets, depending on which degree you're looking at, and they're kind of by the catalog year. And then what we're going to look at right now is the Michigan Transfer Agreement. So this is probably familiar to those of you that are working on the arts and science degrees, but this is where you can kind of see what you would need to check off. And by pretty much doing the arts and science degree also completes this with a couple of minor exceptions. So if this is something that you think you are close to or working on, that should be something you should be keeping in mind. Okay, you can also, when you're scheduling, keep in mind that you could take an SE4 class for your high school graduation requirement. It's not necessary in most cases, and really if you are able to, we prefer that you do that at the high school. But if you have something where there may be some exceptions where if you've got more than the 3 classes that you have available at the high school that you have left to complete, or if there's something that you're really interested in, an elective that you're really interested in taking instead of the core class, you could do that at the college. Or if there's a high school course you need that isn't available in the morning, although that's very rare. But basically, I would say come and see us if you're thinking about using a college class for your high school requirement. Time-wise, just a reminder that now that you're only taking 3 high school classes, you can start taking college classes at noon. And if you are a lucky Port Huron High or Port Huron Northern student, being so close, you could take a class that starts at 11:30. There's no exceptions. You will not be allowed to take a class earlier than that. And if you do register for a class earlier than that, they will be dropped, and you'll need to find a new class. So if you have questions about that, let us know. One last thing to consider when registering online classes, the flexibility of it is wonderful. I know that they sound very good and tempting, but we really would recommend that you don't take online classes unless there's no other way. Unless you're sure you're a kind of student that can succeed without guidance and support. So what that means is you don't have regular access to a teacher. You'll email with your instructor, and some of them may be great at getting back to you and some of them might not be. So if you're a person that needs a lot of help from your teacher, or you're a person that procrastinates, kind of needs somebody looking over your shoulder to make sure you're doing stuff, if you're a person whose parents have to check Skyward to let you know where you stand with stuff, online classes are probably not for you. Come and see one of us if you want to talk it through, but I really would recommend holding off on online classes for now. And lastly, if you're interested in the nursing program, you really need to make sure that you're planning well for your 12th grade year, because you ideally will hope to apply next spring. So if that's something that you're interested in, you've probably already let me know, but let me know, Ms. Weimer. Contact me before fall registration if you even think that you might be interested in pursuing the nursing degree at SC4. And just a reminder that your SAT is on Tuesday, April 10th, followed by the ACT work keys will be the next day, Wednesday, April 11th, actually, that's incorrect. So Tuesday is the 10th, Wednesday is the 11th. Then you will have your MSTEP exams, and the dates vary depending on which high school you go to. If you go to one of the partner public schools, you take the test there. If you are a homeschool or unaffiliated student, you would take the test here with us at SC4. And if you're one of those students, Mr. Ruiz has already emailed some details, but we'll send you another email really soon with the details of like where to go and what time to report for all of that stuff. Again, when you list your colleges to have your scores sent, make sure you include SC4. That's the easiest, fastest way to get your SAT scores to SC4 to use for course placement for your English and math. We did have prep sessions, and this page there will be a link in the email that we send, but this is the page where you can find the SAT prep, and I think I did point that out over at that page before. If you haven't been practicing, really get on it. You still have a few weeks, and you've got your high school spring breaks coming up where all you have to do is go to college classes, and the rest of the time you could be getting a lot of practice done. We'll be in touch and sending an email about the 8th grade tours at SC4. We do need tour guides, and that's usually in late May, early June, during the day from about 8 to 2:30. You would only do one day, and you could be excused from your high school classes, but if you have a final exam or if you have an important test, you would not be excused from anything like that. So if you know that you have something crazy going on the day that the tours are happening, then just don't do it. But if it's just kind of the end of the year wrapping up stuff, you could be excused from your class. So keep an eye out for that email. It's good for NHS or volunteer hours. And your Chromebooks. So you do keep your Chromebooks the whole 3 years that you're with us, which include keeping those over the summer. But if you are worried about being able to keep it safe over the summer, or you're going away on a trip and you just don't want to have it at home, you can bring it in and we'll hold on to it for you, and then you could just pick it back up in the fall. But just obviously don't have it with you at the beach, pool, campgrounds, anywhere where it could fall into water or get damaged. And then let us know if it is damaged already or if it should ever, because summer would be a good time to have it repaired. Also, textbooks need to be returned now at the end of this semester, so we'll start accepting them April 23rd. That would be the week before finals week. But obviously don't bring any books in that you will still need in order to study for your final exams. Once you turn them in, we won't be able to hand them back to you. So definitely, if you need to wait, I would say the best time to turn them in is when you're done with your last final. Just pop them on over and then you wouldn't have to worry about it. The latest to return them, though, their deadline would be Friday, May 11th, which is the Friday after the semester ends. If you do not have your books in by then, your fall courses will be dropped from your schedule, and then there will be a $25 late fee. And then you also cannot get your fall books until you have paid that fee and returned the books. So it's really important. We need those over the summer to do inventory. Just bring them in after your last final and you don't have to worry about it. And at this point, there's now 4 weeks before finals week. But that's still plenty of time to bring up grades. Get yourself to every class, complete every assignment, talk to your instructor, see the tutoring, and do what it takes, but there is time to bring it up. You do want to keep your SE4 GPA above a 2.0 so that you're not getting into a situation where you're on academic warning with SE4. Okay, so there's a program of study that I will give you instructions on how to fill out. That'll be pretty much your homework for this success session. The program of study and degree planning 101 sheets. The email I will send out will have directions on how to fill that out. When it's done, you'll drop it off in the Middle College office, or you can send a picture of it and send it to me. Those are due by Friday, April 13th, and this would be the email that I'm talking about, and there'll be links to the other videos about how to register and how to use the Service Center.